How does intuition affect decision making? Today in this video, we'll learn more about it. Hi, I'm Abhimanyu Datta, an elder son, elder brother, and fiance to a superwoman. I'm an MBA turned international entrepreneur and now a profit scale up coach. I've been published by a leading English newspaper and I've trained over 200 entrepreneurs in a special Government of India training program. And I'm on a mission to help 1 million entrepreneurs under the age of 45 achieve 10x profit using intuition. And I'm the founding partner of 10x Profit Hub. So let's understand how does intuition affect decision making. But before we start, I want to tell you a few important things. You might be watching this video on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or even LinkedIn. Right now, I want you to comment, I'm ready to learn. Next, I want you to take a notepad and a pen and take lots of notes. And at the end of the video, I want you to comment your key takeaways from this video. Alright, so let's start. So in this video, we'll first learn what's the decision making process, what are the types of decisions, and then how does intuition really affect decision making. So the decision making process can be divided into 6 steps. So the decision making process has basically 6 steps. Let us see what are those. Let me adjust my screen. All right. So the decision making process happens in this way. So if you might be in a situation in your personal life or professional life and you have taken decisions a lot of time, and you might get situations where you have to take another decision. So what are the 6 logical steps? 1, we gather input. We take lots of information about the situation. What is the situation all about? How it was created? Why it was created? When it was created? And all the other variables related to that situation. So gathering input. Number 2, we analyze the data that we gather the information and we try to interpret it. Why the situation has happened, how it has come to happen, how the situation came into place, what were the reasons that did happen, now what can we do ahead. So interpreting the variables, the situation, and analyzing the situation. In your personal life, you will analyze it in your brain, or you will might be even talk to your friends or family members. In professional world, it's analyzed by creating different models, putting the data into Excel sheet, and again creating certain models. Number 3, the third step is you look for a tilt. Now, what does it mean looking for a tilt? So once you gather the data and you start interpreting it, you come to know that the data starts angling. Alright, or you get a gist that the data is suggesting to a particular certain angle or certain particular situation. Because when we start interpreting the data, the solutions can be either none, one, or too many. But when it starts tilting towards a certain angle, we get a gist of it, that where this data is leading us to. The number 4 is we discuss it with the team. In your personal life, first of all, we discuss within ourselves, we discuss with our family members, we discuss with our friends or whoever is related with that situation. In corporate world or in your business world, you discuss internally with your team, external teams, to really understand that what you have discovered and discussed is really the same, and what other people are thinking is also the same, and what they really think is the probable solution for about. The 5th point is, once you have gathered the data, you have interpreted it, you get the tilt, and you have also discussed with your team, now you take approval from your seniors or the stakeholders involved, so that they come on board for the decision that you have taken for the further course of action. This stage might take even a single day, but most of the time it takes lots of time, lots of persuasion, and lots of influence. Because in corporate world, you're not the only one who is taking the decision. When a decision is taken and implemented, it affects a whole lot of variables. It not only affects internally, but also it affects externally. It will affect your consumers, your vendors, your other departments, your seniors and juniors. So depending upon the impact, the seniors will decide whether to really go ahead with that particular decision, or maybe change the course of action suggested by you and your team. And the last point is, we also take into consideration the cost associated while taking a certain decision. Whether taking a certain decision, how much will it cost us, and the return vis-a-vis the cost involved. If the return is minimal or even zero, most of the times we don't take that decision. But if the return is definitely higher than the cost involved, you can definitely expect a positive response to your proposal or the decision that needs to be taken. In the decision making process, the will now talk of the types of decisions that are not based on intuition. So there are two types of decisions that are not based on intuition. The first is where data is known, where you have loads of data, where you can quantify it, you can really show it in pictures, in words and in numbers. The data is quantifiable. You know that we have lots of data to analyze. That is where intuition is not needed, and you can easily then calculate your options, and you can estimate the cost involved and even model the outcome depending on the data you have. The second option, the second type of decision that does not require intuition, are decisions which are made with long track of experience behind them. In a professional world, if you're working in any certain organization, or even if you're an entrepreneur who has been working in a particular field for a considerable amount of time, those people get lots of experience. They have a bank of experience within them because they have been working for so many years. So many times when decisions are taken and it is backed by experience, there you don't require intuition to take your decisions and to implement them. Now, areas where intuitive decisions are taken. What are those areas? Let's have a look at it and learn what are those areas. So there are particularly 5 areas where intuitive decisions are taken. So let's look at those 5 areas right now. So the number 1 is the financial world. When I speak about financial world, it consists of your BFSI world. It includes your stock markets. It includes your all the organizations related to finance, loans, or trade. So there, after a certain degree of interpreting the data, finally the leader who has to take the decision uses his intuition whether to go ahead with a particular proposal or not. Believe me, you talk to your seniors and ask them how do they really decide. They might tell you that they look at the data, this, blah, 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 but finally ask them, what if both the proposals are the same? Or what if you're still not sure that this will work? They use their instinct, they use their intuition to really implement a decision, and then they label it that we took a risk. Well, it's not a risk. Of course it's a risk if it doesn't work out, but those decisions are backed by intuition most of the times. The second area where intuitive decisions are also taken are the strategic decisions. Now, strategic decisions can be related to mergers and acquisitions, your marketing, your pricing, in finance and operations. Here also intuitive decisions are taken place. Situations where high risk situations. I discussed the high risk situations in my last video. What are the high risk situations? So the high risk situations include people who are working in the medical field, who are working in the armed forces. So these are high risk situations. Also, high risk situations also involve politicians who have to take a decision on a particular policy that can affect a huge amount of people as well. The fourth area is when people are hiring for leadership positions. Many a times, people or the HR departments or the CEOs who are hiring people for leadership positions, they get so many applications, and sometimes they get people who are really very good. There is very little to distinguish between them. That's where the hiring manager uses their intuition to finally place a candidate. It's even if they don't know, they have been using their intuition in hiring such in hiring for such positions. They might not agree, they might not accept, but yes, intuition does do play a role in it. All right, and the last area where intuitive decisions are taken are time sensitive situations in the commercial world. Now, what are time sensitive situations in the commercial world? So there are two such situations. One is when you have to give quotation immediately on the phone. Many a time when you're an entrepreneur, even when you're working in an organization in a sales or marketing department, you might get a certain consumer, a certain customer who is really hell bent on taking the quotation on the phone. That is where you use your intuition unknowingly to give a price which is according to you safe. That means the customer won't mind paying that price and your company won't feel that you have given too much discount on it, right? And the second area where you again use intuition is when you get a call from a prospective consumer just for inquiring. Here you don't, here the consumer is not asking for a particular price or quotation, but he's doing a lot of inquiry. So here also a sales professional or a marketing person who's talking to the prospective consumer uses his intuition to drive the conversation where it leads to a sale. Mind blown? Comment mind blown in the comment section, and I want to see your key takeaways. Now we also have one more part where I'll be exactly telling you how intuition affects decision making. So we'll be now looking at the four situations where on where decisions require intuition. So when you are in a situation where you have to make decisions, many a times we look at the past events and see how did it worked out. We take reference from that and we take a decision. But what if you don't have any past event to refer to, or the past is totally different from the present situation? That is where you use intuition. So in decision making there arises such situations. All right, so this is one situation where intuition will definitely affect your decision making process. The second is rapidly changing environments. In the last 10-20 years, the business world and the world in general has changed rapidly in terms of technology, in terms of education, business, commerce, arts, in terms of even the way of living our life. It has changed rapidly. In such rapidly changing environment, people take decisions only based on intuition. The next area is when people don't have enough info, right? Even in your personal life or in professional life. So it applies to entrepreneurs as well, and it also applies to the sales professional, especially who are on field visit. Because when a sales professional is on field visit, he does not have the information which he which the consumer might ask. See, what happens is when sales professionals go on a field visit, they do they do all the preparation and they carry all the data they think the consumer might ask them, the prospective customer might ask them. But at times it really happens that they really have to rely on intuition to give a certain information to the consumer. And lastly, when decisions are made when enough data is not present, here we have two situations where wisdom from experience is used and intuition is used. So as I was talking in this video earlier, that there is a situation where there is not enough data is present. So how do you take a decision? So decisions are taken by leaders who have experience and they have collected wisdom over a period of time, and then they mix it with the intuition and then they take a decision. So imagine a decision that has been taken using your own experience and wisdom, plus you use your intuition to arrive at a particular decision. And believe me, at times it even beats the super fast computer who is known for very high speed data processing and giving out solutions. You only need to learn how to combine both of them, and it's a very powerful way of decision making. And lastly, we have when there's little data is present, and you have to of course rely on intuition. So now before you leave me, I want you to comment your key takeaways from what you learned from this video, and also I want you to do three things right now. First, I want you to join our private Facebook VIP group of 10x Profit Hub. The link is given in the description. I want you to join our private Telegram channel of 10x Profit Hub. The link is given in the description. So click on both the links and join both the groups, the Facebook VIP group and the VIP Telegram channel. And lastly, like this video. I will keep coming up We will keep coming up with more such videos, informative videos on intuition and how you can use intuition to really 10x your profit. Till then, bye bye, take care.